Hello and welcome to the Webcast for Saturday, October 12th. I'm South Ops meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. The marine layer remains fairly shallow this morning, though is beginning to deepen up along the central coast. While some coastal areas will remain in the clouds once again, most areas will be looking at another sunny day, with a few high clouds here or there as well. Our 24-hour relative humidity change reveals little change since yesterday in most spots, even some areas that are a little drier, and we had poor recoveries again last night in many of the Southern California mountains. However, if you look towards Monterey Bay and up towards the north coast, you can see a much different story with significant increases in humidity. That region can often be a leading indicator of what's to come for the rest of us, and that will be the case here as well. The weakening trough of low pressure that we've been talking about for days has moved into Northern California and the Northwest this morning. You can see it pretty clearly on the water vapor satellite. That trough is going to develop into a weak cutoff low and ever so slowly drift southeastward through the Great Basin over the next few days. The result will be a benign weather pattern for our region with cooling temperatures and increasing humidity. Here's a look at today's forecast highs. You can see we will be several degrees cooler than yesterday, though still definitely on the warm side for this time of year over Southern California. And here's the forecast highs for Sunday, several more degrees of cooling, with a very refreshing weekend of weather on the way. For Monday and Tuesday, this cooling trend will level out and will likely warm back up a few degrees over Central California, but it will remain very pleasant weather overall. Humidity will be on the increase as well. For today, we'll start to see some increases, although minimum humidity will still mainly be in the 12 to 25% range away from the marine layer, with single digits in the deserts. But take a look at tomorrow's minimum RH, a much different story with values mainly above 25% outside the deserts, and much higher than that in some cases. These higher RH values will continue throughout all of the upcoming week, with much better overnight recoveries developing this weekend as well. With that trough to our north, we will continue to see afternoon and evening westerly winds of 15 to 25 miles per hour, with gusts to 40 miles per hour across the mountain ridges and desert passes through Sunday night. But those sorts of winds are nothing too special and likely won't be a big factor overall. Our next weather system to watch will be a stronger Pacific trough affecting the region mid-next week. This trough will bring several more degrees of cooling Wednesday and Thursday, with temperatures falling well below average. There will also be a more significant round of gusty onshore winds for the midweek period. This trough will also bring a better chance of at least some scattered shower activity over much of the area late Wednesday through Thursday or Friday. However, it continues to look like a light precipitation event at best. There is then extremely high uncertainty in the forecast from Friday through next weekend, with forecast models in total disagreement on whether that trough will depart or develop into a strong cutoff low over the desert southwest. There is potential for some type of offshore wind event by next weekend, but a number of different outcomes are possible, and it's just much too uncertain to say right now what will happen. What is certain, however, is that we are looking at much more benign fire weather conditions for the majority of the upcoming week. Of course, we've been hammering home the record-breaking dry fuel conditions that we've been seeing across California, and make no mistake, it is still very dry out there today in a lot of spots. But we're in for some big improvements the next few days. Dead fuel moistures will significantly increase. In particular, the finer 1 and 10-hour dead fuels will become much less receptive in most areas, and greatly limit the potential for fire start and spread in most of our fuel beds. This graph shows that even the 100-hour dead fuels, which are record dry in most areas at the moment, will trend towards above normal moisture levels by mid to late next week. So to summarize, large fire potential will be decreasing this weekend, though today will remain warm and dry over much of the area with some breeziness as well, so there is definitely still potential out there in a lot of spots today. But large fire potential will become quite low for most of next week as temperatures cool further and RH becomes high. But as everyone knows, we're not out of the woods until we get meaningful rainfall across the region. The sort of pattern this coming week is great for temporary relief on our finer fuels, but barring big changes, it will do nothing to induce a season-ending green-up across the region, and the moistening of those finer fuels can be quickly undone by a dry offshore wind event. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. The next one will be on Sunday, October 13th.